in my career in dentistry when I was fortunate enough to meet my good friend, who's a super nice person, Keanu Reeves, who everybody's pretty aware of. I didn't know that he would start a motorcycle company. He came to me one time, and this is a story I can tell. He chipped a tooth on a movie riding a motorcycle.
Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We could call it Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard it from the champ himself. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest tonight, Mr. Rifkin. We're simply knocking out the competition. See, I can say Mr., I can say Laurence, I can say Sir, but he is the one and only, one of the best in the world, doctor when it comes to cosmetic dentists. I mean, everybody wants to have that confidence of a beautiful smile. Everybody wants their teeth white. Everybody wants to look good and break the fountain of youth and kick Father Time right in the butt. And if you go see Mr. Dr. Rifkin, it's a wrap. It's in the bag. Because not only does he entertain all the guests worldwide, but the stars, the simple people like me and you, all the way down Beverly Hills. Ladies and gentlemen, enough said, our guest. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Laurence.
Richard, thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to be on your show. It's a great honor. I know you got a great show. You're a star in your own right, and we all do our best. We work hard, and I'm glad to be here and discuss whatever it is that you want to discuss. You know, I love sharing. I love sharing stories. I love educating. But it's great to be here. So I'm here for you, your guests, and let it roll.
You know, I got to ask you this. First of all, you're in tremendous shape. I got to ask you, what sports did you play in high school and what motivated you to hit the dental world?
That's a great question. Actually, I played some flag football. My my parents, my mother wouldn't let me play tackle football, but I played basketball, and I always tried to stay in shape. I love activity. I love energy. I respected all kinds of athletes, whether it was football or basketball or boxing. I had a martial arts teacher. Actually, a long time ago, it was actually Chuck Norris. It's funny, when I was in high school, when before he was an actor, and he had a brother and a couple studios in the South Bay, Torrance, Redondo Beach area. And so my brother's always been active. He's been an athlete. So I was appreciated feeling good, being in good shape. And, I try to keep my weight down. I work out. I think it's just part of my life. And I think everybody should, being a doctor, a dentist, and understanding, trying to know more about health issues. There's more and more information coming out. Like, if you did nothing else, better sleep and exercise keeps your bones strong, your muscles strong, keep you from falling when you get older. I'm starting to reach an older age, and I'm not quitting. I have a ton of energy, and so that's the sports I played in high school. And what made me become a dentist was actually my uncle. When I was in high school and college, I didn't really know I wanted to be a dentist. I actually played drums in a band, and I was an artist. I did a lot of artwork. You see some of my sculptures maybe in the background, some pictures of it. I always liked art. I like beauty. I like building things, working on my car, working on the motorcycle, just making stuff. I like doing all that. But my uncle was a dentist, and I ended up, I needed some money in the summer. He gave me a summer job working in the dental laboratory. I kind of found out that I liked it. I actually liked it. And because it was creative, it was artistic. And then you can, in dentistry, like, unlike most people, I didn't want to work for anybody else. So you can work for yourself. You can have your own job, be your boss, do things the way you want. And that's probably how I got started. So I went away from being an artist as a profession and trying to make a living off of that, and or being a musician. I liked doing that, but I didn't like the lifestyle of people that potentially were on drugs, and they didn't get in shape, they didn't last too long, and they didn't make a lot of money unless you're really super talented. Not that there aren't great, talented, non-drugging using musicians, but in those days, in the 70s and 60s and 80s, that's what kind of happened to people. So that was my start. That was my start in a career of dentistry.
I heard you mention motorcycles, and I've noticed a lot of your pictures that, you'll take a ride with the who's who from Keanu Reeves to, you still hasn't got Ozzy Osbourne on the bike yet, but I mean, you'll just take a ride in these relationships that you have. I mean, tell us about some of those relationships and why a motorcycle. Because everybody says it's not if, it's when. Hopefully you don't stumble on a motorcycle, and you got to have focus and
Right.
concentration and respect that it's a huge motor.
Well, how did I get into motorcycles? I think kind of in those days, if you got to go back, remember, I graduated high school in 1968, and in the 70s and probably late 60s, the movie Easy Rider uh, with Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper was a really popular show. People were free. It was kind of hippie days. People would just want to go ride and be free, and I wanted that too. So I got a motorcycle with a friend of mine, Brian, and we just started riding. So when I was 19 years old, just a year or two out of high school, I got a motorcycle and started enjoying that freedom and that joy of riding a motorcycle. I didn't know later on in my career in dentistry, when I was fortunate enough to meet my good friend, who's a super nice person, Keanu Reeves, who everybody's pretty aware of. I didn't know that he would start a motorcycle company. He came to me one time, and this is a story I can tell. He chipped a tooth on a movie riding a motorcycle, and he came to me, and I didn't know later on he was such a motorcycle enthusiast, and he started a company called Arch with another friend of his, Guard, who was a motorcycle custom motorcycle builder, and so Guard, with Keanu's input and design, said, I want a motorcycle like this. Can you build that? Can you do that? And they ended up with an amazing design motorcycle, very custom, very incredible mark. It's called Arch. The company's called Arch. And
Arch.
so Arch, ARCH, right. Super custom. It's made perfectly for every rider. So whether you're 6'4" or 5'4", the controls, the handlebars, the motorcycle runs, the seats is meant for you. So not every motorcycle company can do that. They usually give, 4 or 5, 10 different models, and you pick the one that fits you best.
Yeah.
The other way around is to make custom, detailed, precision motorcycle built for you. Even though it's a basic design, it's still customized for you. And of course, I really appreciate precision. I precision the artwork of anything. I don't care whether it's an airplane, a boat, a motorcycle, teeth. I know my sculptures. I enjoy people that have a passion for their work. No matter what it is. This is a show in somewhat about boxing, and I love the art of boxing. The detail, the precision, the learning, the skill of anything. Could be tennis, but if you learn it, basketball, there is practice, it's precision, it's detail. It's not just, you're not only born with talent, you have to develop it.
Yes.
And I've done that and try to do that in every aspect of my life, whether I was learning martial arts or sculpting or doing dentistry. I'm a passionate person, and so I guess that's a good thing. Approach to life. That's my approach to life.
Well, I mean, I will say this: everybody in life has a fight. Everybody is fighting something. So when I say every fighter has a voice, and so do you, which means whether you're fighting for your job, you're fighting for your marriage, you're fighting for a raise at work, or you're fighting to survive and get to that extra level, we
Mhm.
just happen to pick it up. Like when I do say, a lot of our guests do not need a mouthpiece or to put the gloves on, because everybody's fighting something in their life, and everybody's fighting to
Yeah.
stay afloat and continue to be successful. And you're one of those. When I watch you and I watch your videos, not only should you conduct seminars and be a motivational speaker, which man, I mean, just listening to your stories, it motivates me, especially a man that is fit, a man that continues to chase his dreams, appreciate life, and just have tons of energy. I mean, that becomes contagious, and we all want what you want. That's why I said earlier in the show, I'm trying to catch you.
Well, that's very complimentary. I appreciate that. But look, you're doing it. You're doing it. I don't care what it is in life that your pursuit is. It doesn't have to be fighting. It doesn't have to be dentistry. I'm attracted, and I guess I gravitate towards people that have energy, a positive attitude towards life. Negativity doesn't work for me. I don't like that. I try to emulate and learn from people that are somewhat either mentors, which is great. When you're young, you need a mentor because you don't really know how to approach life. You kind of mirror and match people around you, and you really should surround yourself with people that are more energetic, positive, and know that there's no limit to what you can achieve. Just believe in it, just go for it. Even if you don't believe in it, just go for it anyway. You
Yes.
know, a couple people have affected me in life. From I had, fortunately for me, even though I lost my father at an early age, I had great family around me to support me. I had a brother that I emulated that was always a good mentor. My brother Robert, even who Mia St. John, who is my girlfriend, and she's a five-time WBC World Boxing Champion. She's an amazing person. There's no quit in her. I mean, if you follow her career, she's an amazing person. And she's had a lot of challenges in her life, as we all have, but she's had some serious challenges, and she's just not going to give up, even though it's been pretty tough for her. People that, fortunately, because I see in my career in dentistry, I get to see a fair number of successful people, celebrities or alike. Um, and they somewhat motivate me to say, look, I don't care if you're famous. That doesn't mean anything. You're famous as whatever you achieve in life is based upon your energy, and you don't have to be a celebrity. I get to see them probably because I'm in Beverly Hills, my practice. It just turned out that way. I started off in humble beginnings in Hawthorne, California. My uncle was a dentist there. At a certain point, I got to be fortunate enough to be the team dentist for the Los Angeles Lakers. So I have a Laker jacket. I got a lot of stuff from them, and I really liked champions. And you're a champion in anything that you do. Richard, you're a champion in what you're doing in podcasts and communication to people. Um, and I know a lot of people like that. And unfortunately, I don't have children, but I do have nieces and nephews, and I try to be a positive image and role player for them, because I appreciate those people in my life that have motivated me and pushed me to be more of whatever I could be. And I still try to do it every day. I learn, and I'm not a child anymore. Sorry, I got interrupted.
Oh, it's okay.
Are
I
you still
mean,
there?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Sorry about that. I thought I turned my phones off,
no,
but
it's okay. You
it
can
happened.
even answer it if you like. That's what type of
Ah,
podcast this is.
I like the cash about it. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm anything special. It's just the fact that I've worked hard for many years. I've had good support and good mentors. I try to look at the good side of life, no matter what's going on in the world. The world can go to shit, pardon my French, but I'm going to thrive no matter what the circumstances are. I'm not a victim. I don't have a victim mentality. And we all have, like you started off the show, we all have our battles. I'm far from perfect. I have my struggles too, but I don't care. It's like we all think about Kobe Bryant. He's got the Mamba
Yeah,
mentality. There's no quitting him. And I think people should learn from that, and others that
I agree.
have a positive attitude.
I agree. For a lot of people, you're that star on top of the tree. You put it on, when you complete, you're that frosting on the cake because everybody wants that smile. Everybody wants that $1 million smile. Everybody wants that confidence that's in store with a beautiful smile. I'm going to tell a
Yeah.
story real quick. A coworker of mine, and I work for the school district. I work with kids. I'm a safety officer. So I make sure they get from A to B, make sure there's no fights, make sure, we need to do to get them to class. And there's this officer has the same, benefits that I have, but he would always kind of, you know, put his mouth close to his hands close to his mouth because of that confidence, a lack of. And I'm thinking, well, he has the same as I do. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened these 2 summers ago. He is a completely different person. Got his
Yeah.
grill fixed, and it's just that says a lot. Walks around with his head up high, is not afraid to take pictures, and continues to move forward. So when I say that,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people because of they feel complete, they're able to excel to that next level. And then you have some regardless, they're going to go there whether you tell them or teeth tells them or eyes tell them they're not. They're going to continue to go forward. Those are just those self-driven people. That's that mama mentality. But what I'm telling you is you make a difference. You're able to make people smile and give them that achievement of being accomplished as far as even just taking a picture with the loved ones. How does that make you feel knowing that you made an impact, not only when they leave your office, but every day in life, they're going to drive around and have that big smile? How does that make you feel?
I didn't. it makes me feel amazing. And I'm very grateful for that because they give me the honor, the trust in me to change things not only anatomically, which I think dentists, plastic surgeons, any kind of reconstructive surgeon, giving back limbs and giving back smiles and giving back faces. It's an amazing feeling to be able to give to somebody that is not just anatomical or physical, but it's actually emotional. You know, I used to be sensitive about losing my hair. I don't care anymore, honestly. As we get older, certain things become less important. But the ability to be confident, which is such an important lesson early in life. And sometimes if you have a significant blemish, okay, like your smile or whatever it might be, it can be fixed, and it does make a difference. Having a beautiful smile, it's not about just the beauty, it's about the ability to interact. Like right now, you and I are speaking to each other, okay? And our communication is not only the words that we say, but when I look at you or look at somebody, I see your eyes, I see your smile. I see your teeth. I see that your lips move because we are talking. We're communicating, and our facial expressions, support that communication. So if you don't feel great about your teeth, you got a crooked tooth, a broken tooth, a dark tooth, you are reluctant to smile. And what I found out studying the psychology of smiling is that there is what we call a psychomotor relationship between smiling and feeling good. So you can imagine if you are an actor, I'll give you an example. If you're an actor and I asked you, Richard, I said, Richard, I would like you in the next scene to feel sad and almost cry and be down. You're not going to be smiling, right? You're
Yeah.
going to drop your head, your voice is going to get a little lower, you're not going to smile, and you're going to feel sad. So there's a relationship between facial expression, body language, and your emotional feeling. If I say the reverse to you, I say, this is the happiest day of your life. Whatever had happened, you saw your long lost, your the boyfriend, the guy who came back from the war and he survived, and you're happy, you're going to be smiling. So what actors do is they change their body how to say it, physiognomy, something like that. I'm sorry, I got the wrong word, but they change their body position, their facial expressions to feel happy. If I say to you, try to be sad and smile, you can't do it. You can't do it. So guess what I'm trying to say? When you smile, whether you have good teeth or bad teeth, you feel happier.
Yes.
But if you're reluctant to smile, you don't get that full emotional plus. Okay, you don't get that rush, and so like you said, what does it feel like to change some people's lives with a beautiful smile or get rid of a blemish? It's an amazing feeling for me to accomplish. I mean, it happens almost every day for me when I transform patients' smiles when they come in and say, "I hate my smile, doc. I don't like to smile in pictures. My lips are always together." They're not smiling, and so they're not really feeling as happy as they could. And for me to be able to provide that service and that transformation for them is quite an accomplishment. I never thought I would be able to do that when I got out of dental school, because when I got out of dental school in 1976, there really was no cosmetic dentistry. It was just health, and there's a lot more that we know to emotion from looking and feeling good, and that's why exercise also makes you feel good too, right?
It does. It does. And mentally, it does.
Yeah,
Going into a weekend knowing you skipped some days and then you cheated on some pizza or something, it can mentally bring you down as well. But when you're putting the
yeah,
work in, I mean, there's nothing like it. You feel like $1,000,000.
yeah, yeah. So I'm very lucky, and I like the fact that you're able to create an environment, a vehicle, a platform for people to learn more about each other's successes and failures and overcoming them and moving on from there. That's great. This communication is wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is exactly why. A lot of people don't really know my story, why, or what I do. I'm the original fighter's voice. I'm the original fighter. I lost my
Hmm.
son, and I had no reason to live. So I fought through it,
Mm.
and I found my serenity that whenever I'm behind the microphone, I feel no
Yeah,
hurt. I feel no
yeah,
pain. I this is my serenity. And to
Mhm.
give people the opportunity to be heard, it keeps my son's legacy alive. Because after every show or interview that I've done with fighters or MMA fighters or celebrities, I always say it's a wrap, thumbs up for Richie. So now it becomes
Yeah.
where I want it to become worldwide, and that's how I keep my son's legacy alive. And one time my son saw me on TV and he texted me. I didn't know exactly what it meant, but it was some of the lingo that the kids use. He says, Dad, I like your fit, which means he liked what I had on. And then he says, I'm proud of you. So I keep hearing
Yeah.
that on every show that I do, and to me, that's our connection together. So I have every right not
Hmm.
to want to get up in the morning or jump off a bridge or do something
Absolutely.
crazy. No one can judge me, but I knew I needed to be used. I knew I wanted to win. I knew I wanted to keep the promise of keeping my son's legacy alive, and that we talked about the platform, and this is what I use it for. It's everybody's platform. The people that come on the
Yeah.
show, it belongs to them, and I truly believe that this show is blessed. That guests that come on this show, they come on later to prosper and or win a
Hmm.
title, or if they've lost that fight, they've gained sponsors since being on that show. Actors that used to be extras and now they're acting in big scenes, and people
Hmm.
who had different dreams about coming on the show, and then now they're police officers because they've always wanted to be one. So, you know, no one's exempt, and everybody on the show, they receive blessings. I truly believe that in the bottom of my heart.
Well, I think that's support everything that you just said. I'm sorry for the loss of your son. I
Thank
appreciate and respect the fact that you're supporting his legacy. I know that huge black hole in your heart from losing somebody that is a child. I've learned this through Mia, who lost her son as well. And probably it's every parent's nightmare is to lose a child. There's probably no worse loss there is. Losing a parent is bad, but it's somewhat expected and normal in life. Losing a child is not normal. But the fact that you can share it and you know you're not alone. It's sad when it happens, but you're not alone, and there are positive things that you can do to try to understand and cope with it. I think that's a great thing that you're doing. The great show on this, and I'm glad to hear the success story that you're showing. That's quite a struggle. That's quite a challenge. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. The platform, like I said, belongs to the guest, but it also, like I said, it does something for me. It's my serenity, and I need it. I'm addicted to it. I'm passionate about it, and I don't have a plan B. I mean, our dream is for the podcast to go worldwide. I know we need more followers, subscribers, but it'll come. Through the grind, it'll come through the right people in line.
Mhm.
It'll come. And I treat everybody. The same, whether they're a local fighter or a world champion, or my personal dentist, Jason. Can't remember his last name right now. I just call him Dr. Jason. And to you, sir, I mean, you're one of the best in the world, and you do make a difference. And that's exactly what I was looking at. And the difference that you make in people's lives. Yes, a lot of them are celebrities, but no one's exempt from feeling pain or hurt or also smiling. And my mom said a long time ago, she said, Mijo, if they don't have a smile, give them one, which means when I was a
Mhm.
kid. So,
There you go.
you know,
Yeah.
I always remembered that.
Yep. Everybody's got their story, and we're all in this struggle together. And I think that we should uh, spread more connection and love. I know that sounds pretty corny, but life is short.
Yes.
Time has gone by for me so quickly. I've had a lot of wonderful experiences. I've had my losses. I've had my pains. But I keep working hard, and I'm blessed. And I kind of do an addict gratitude exercise every day for what I have,
Yeah.
what I've accomplished. I'm proud of. I've made mistakes, but I get through them, and I don't look at mistakes as just that. I look at that as like Dizzy Gillespie, which nobody probably knows in this generation who Dizzy Gillespie was. He was a jazz trumpet player. He used to say, "There are no mistakes, only results." Every mistake is a lesson. Everything is something you can build on, and I think that's an important message that I've received from a few different locations. And I'm happy where I'm at. I'm lucky. I whatever my life, however long it is, I'm going to enjoy every day of it as much as I can. From my humble beginnings, my losses, to my hard work, to the great mentors I've had, the fortunes that I've had, some luck. Um, I just think that we can make a certain amount of luck. It's a lot of hard work, but if you love it, it's not work anymore, right? It's a passion that you do
Yeah,
every day.
exactly.
Um, Doors have opened up for me that I never even imagined. Doing special effects on movies and certain actors. I did. I was fortunate enough to do The Hangover, the first movie.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, when the actor Ed Helms lost that tooth,
yeah.
I did the special effects on him, and I'm allowed to say that because I'm very private about protecting my celebrity's anonymity. Not trying to tout it out, but that was a fun experience for me. I've done that, and other actors special effects on their teeth. I never imagined that when I was young. I never imagined that when I was the first dentist. I didn't know it was even possible. So never doubt what's on the horizon or what's over the horizon that you can't see. There's something there that you will find out and you will love. Just can't be stuck in this one spot.
That's that artistry that you have as well. It collaborated. You collaborated with yourself using both of your talents, and you used it for Hollywood, and that's quite an achievement. Talking about achievements, you've had so many awards, and I'm listening to your speeches afterwards or your gratitude, and man, your feet are on the ground. I mean, you're a very humble person, a very appreciative person, and is that something that from your upbringing or something that you learned at a in life, or is just just the way you are?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I never really thought about it, but I think that my family's always been taught to respect everyone, from your elders to your teachers to authority figures. Even though none of us are perfect, to all people. And I came from a very diverse environment where I grew up in San Pedro and Hawthorne, and we were so diverse. We didn't even talk really about racial differences or preferences. I mean, I would have friends from every culture and race in my high school, which I think was probably maybe one of the better educations I had. So we didn't talk
Hmm.
about you're white, you're black, you're brown,
Yeah.
you're Asian, whatever you are. I was lucky enough to go to my friend's house who might have been Greek, okay, and I would learn about Greek food, and then Italian, and then Asian, or every ethnicity, every religion. And I think if we were exposed to that, and stop talking about racial divide, we're all people. We're the human race. Dogs don't judge each other by the color of their fur or their
No,
size. I mean, they just like each other.
we
So we
need to
should
take
live more
lessons
like
from them.
dogs. Yeah. But my humble beginnings, I guess, because I've been the subject of prejudice. Um, I think that you're sensitized to that, and you know what's right and what's wrong. You know what hurts, and you should never treat people the way uh, anything else the way you'd want to be treated. Same basic rule. But being humble is, yeah, I've accomplished a lot. Yeah, I could sit and brag here for a lot of the things that I've accomplished. I earned them, and I made a lot of mistakes too. Without making mistakes, there are no lessons.
That's right.
You can't figure out what the right way is until you figure out what the wrong way is.
That's for sure.
And but I know there's people out there that brag, and I don't mind if you brag as long as you can support it. You did it. I think there's a better way to communicate. There's life is not about trying to make yourself elevated, and some people do it the wrong way by diminishing other people,
Yeah,
to make them look taller. I think that's wrong. Just celebrate everybody's life. What's the big deal? You know, I'm just one human being on a planet of billions that is just doing my thing as best I can. I don't judge myself from other people. I measure me for me. How am I doing? Am I doing better? Am I doing better than somebody else? I don't care. Am I doing better for me? And I learned to not disappoint myself, because if I judge myself relative to other people, there's always somebody that's better than me at something, maybe everything. But I don't care. I'm just doing the best I can for me. If people want to be like me, they can surpass me. I celebrate them. It's like being a child and being a teacher. You want your student to be better than you ultimately.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I could identify with that. Actually, there was this kid I used to coach in soccer. all the way up.
Hmm.
His name was Enrique. Now
Hmm.
he coached the high school. Coach. He's became a coach, and they won two back-to-back titles. And but his last time they won state, and I'm happy for him. I'm looking
Hmm.
back and I'm saying, man, he turned out to be a fine coach. And I was able to coach him. And it just I'm happy that I was able to coach him, and I'm proud of him and where he's at today. I'm not saying I was the
Right.
missing link in his life, but somewhere down the line, if he took anything that I gave him that was positive, it makes me feel accomplished as well as being supportive and a role model.
Yep.
Um, I got to ask you this, man. You go to the gym,
Sure.
you like to bike ride. What's your day like, and what time does it start in the morning, and when does it end? When do you make time for the gym and make time to just hit the road and just find your serenity?
Well, my I get up about 5:30, and because I have a longer drive, I move out to the Valley, the Calabasas area. My office is in Beverly Hills. Try to miss the traffic, but even when I lived in Marina Del Rey, it was about a 40-minute, half hour, 40-minute drive. I still get up early because I guess I require less sleep. I'm motivated to get up. When I get home, it could be anywhere between 5 and 9 o'clock. Like tonight, I'll be home a little bit later. This is exciting for me. Usually, I never do less than 4 workouts a week. And I don't care whether I come home at 9 o'clock. If I come home tonight and I didn't work, if I worked out last night, I might skip tonight, but I get in 4 to 5 workouts a week. And it becomes a habit like any brushing your teeth. Hello, I'm a dentist, but
There you
I
go.
just don't quit. And I watch TV while I'm working out, and I know I'm doing something good for my body. I like the results of the energy. I like the strength. I like the know it's healthy. I even like a little bit of the cosmetics. I don't like having a big gut. I never want to look like some of the old beer drinking guys that are friends with. I don't judge them, but I don't like looking like that. I like to look fit, but
Yep.
my day is like getting up at 5:30, get to the office by 8, maybe a little earlier. Do my thing with my patients all day long. Um, I work on lectures because I lecture. Before we're doing this podcast, I did a video promotion for a lecture that I'm going to be giving with an academy here in Beverly Hills in about 6 weeks. So I like teaching. So I put together lectures, but my day is filled with creativity and touching people and hopefully changing their lives in positive ways, healthfully and self-esteem wise. I have a good life that way. I get to see my brother. My brother's a dentist here. My nephew just graduated. He's also a dentist. Just came into the practice. So I got a big family. I got great staff. My staff is amazing. The people that I work with are talented. They're kind. They're caring. They're great work ethic. They're passionate, and I want that to surround me. I don't I try to move away from negativity. I try not to be negative myself. But my day is filled with, gosh, I get up at 5:30 and I probably go to bed at 11:30. Probably get 6 hours sleep. I probably should get more sleep, but I don't. But I'm just too energized, and that's why you should find your passion. Your passion in life will drive you to do good things all the time, and sleep seems like it's kind of in the way, but you need it for
Yeah.
sure. But that's my day, Richard. It's like that's what I do.
So, what's your waiting list like? Like to the average Joe, it says, "Hey, you know what? I want to get my teeth looking good. I want to. I'm going to be. I'm on a podcast. I want them looking white. I want them looking straight. I mean, what's that waiting list
Hmm.
like, as opposed to like someone just calling in now?
Oh, it's
When do you
it's
think they'd get in?
it's not, it's not if it's an emergency, you can get in tomorrow. I always take care of people in pain. If I stay late, come in early, work through lunch, that's fine with me. Pain is pain. If you want to talk to me right away tomorrow, you can set up what we call a virtual consultation, kind of like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I can talk to you on FaceTime and find out what your needs are before you come in and travel and park and do all the time. We can get to know each other quickly, which is maybe one of the good things that came out of COVID. We learned how to communicate and remotely learn from one another. But it depends. I'm booked out, a few weeks. But if it's emergency, like I said, tomorrow. If it's something that requires much more complex treatment planning, I can still get that in quickly. Again, depends on the needs of my prospective patient or friend. So yeah, I could say I'm booked out 3 months. I think that's not true. Number one, I do get booked out for certain types of procedures that are more complex, like rehabilitation. But if you want to come in and fix your smile, sometimes it's teeth whitening and cleaning. Sometimes it's a bonded chipped tooth, or maybe it's full veneers, top or bottom. Um, I think that it's not unreasonable. It's not unreasonable, and we get to know each other quickly.
No, that's good the way you have it and have that opportunity for them. What's it like? I mean, having these guys as your patients. Lawrence Fishburne, Ozzy Osbourne was an icon, and the list
Right.
goes on. Keanu Reeves, Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, what's it like
Yeah.
having them? I mean, what's the conversation like?
And, I respect everybody's accomplishment. Anybody, even if you're a bad actor, not the greatest athlete, it
Yeah,
took a lot of work to get to where you're at, to even be recognized, to be competitive. What's it like? Yeah, Sugar
yeah,
Ray Leonard. My God, I mean, there's a lot of gloves above here. In my office, I've got a lot of memorabilia over here, more gloves, and
yeah.
people
I can
that I
see those.
respect for what their accomplishments. Yeah, it's fun. I will admit, I can't say
Oh
it's
wow.
boring. It's great because I get to learn things about them that you get an insight as far as who they are as human beings. But I would say, for the most part, they're not narcissistic. They're just hardworking people that happen to be in the public eye in a vehicle that they get to be seen by millions of people. I know that those actors, I couldn't act. And when I look at doing 3 pages, 6 pages, 10 pages of lines, and then you look at them on the screen, and then like talking and rolling it out like that, and it's believable. I think that's quite a talent, and that's a lot of hard work. So it's fun meeting people like that. Um, the hard work from Keanu Reeves, all the
Yeah.
physicality, all the martial arts, the gun skills, gun handling skills, and being an actor. That's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of rehearsal done just before the shoots. There's so much more work. Laurence Fishburne, he's the lines that you have to memorize as a live theater show. To do that, I've seen him do Thurgood Marshall. I forgot who he's going to do soon, but I can't tell you. But I know somebody. Ozzy Osbourne. Look at the record that he's created. Whether you like his music or not, I think he's a great accomplishment as a rock. He was just inducted, or at least nominated, for his second uh, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He got one in 2006, and now he's just been nominated in 2024. It's quite a history. It's quite a legacy and quite an accomplishment. Sugar Ray Leonard, what can you say? I mean, a champion boxer, fighter. A lot of the other people that I've been fortunate to meet, actors and athletes. Uh, uh, it's fun for me, of course. If I was in the middle of Iowa and maybe didn't get the opportunity to be in Beverly Hills and meet people like that, I would find my own sense of joy and accomplishment. But I mean, this is just another world. It's fun for me. Yeah, I agree.
When you're not out taking a ride, when you're out on in the gym, what do you like to do to get away? What do you like to do just to breathe a little bit?
Well, um, sculpting
Away
is
from everything else, away from the actors, away from, the
hiking.
dentists, away from, art. There has
Hiking,
to be
yeah,
something. It
hiking.
could even be the golf course. It could be swimming.
Yeah, I'm not a golf course person, although I play golf and I appreciate it. Swimming, great. I got a pool in the backyard. I swim a little bit, not a lot. I would say hiking, motorcycle ride, going on vacation to go hiking like in Hawaii or somewhere, the mountains in Telluride or anywhere else. Just go for nature. Get away from people. Get away from cities. Get away from buildings. Sit down on the dirt. Get dirty. Get sweaty. Just look at nature. Look at the sky, the clouds, the mountains, the grass, the trees, whatever it might be. To me, that's beautiful. The ocean, listening to the ocean, nature. Nature is a great diversion from the busyness of the creativity of being in an urban environment. But I like the motorcycle ride. There's a freedom and a peace of mind just manipulating and cruising. Bicycle riding as well. Um, Sculpting, that's a whole different mindset for me. Like you're into the creativity of creating a form. Sometimes even the dentistry itself, creating a lecture, is a diversion from busyness. Scattered chaos in your head. So yeah, I don't know what else. I would like to travel. I like to travel more. There's a lot of places I'd like to see still. We all have our bucket list. That's traveling is an important thing for me.
What's on your bucket list? What's on your bucket list to do or to see?
Uh, well, again, traveling. I'd like to see the Great Wall of China. I'd like to go to see the pyramids. I like to see, uh, oh gosh, I'd like to go to Alaska, go to remote. That's one thing. Gosh, if I had the chance to go up into space, it's probably a real pipe dream, but I'd love to do that. Um I can't think of a lot else. I mean, there are so many things that could be done. Just something different. Do something different. Different countries, different cultures, different languages. I've been able to travel a lot, but there's still a lot more I haven't seen. My lectures internationally, I've gone to Brazil and Europe, and I'd like to go to a safari. I want to go to South Africa or Africa somewhere. I think that'd be amazing.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That would be cool. I want to go to New Zealand one day.
I was in New Zealand
Now,
for me. One of Mia's fights.
oh,
Yeah.
really? I want to learn that dance.
Oh, the
You know that
haka,
dance that they hit their chest and
the
yes,
haka, the Samoan
yes.
haka dance. Yeah,
That's on my bucket
that's the
list.
same thing I want to.
Yes,
Yeah, I think it's a warrior's
it is.
chance, right,
It
or a
is the way they
dance or
stay in
something,
line
something
and
like that.
just they give it their
Yeah, it's
all.
amazing. Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
if you can be any superhero in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh wow, a superhero. I wouldn't want to be corny to have superpowers. I know this is probably going to sound crazy. It's like to me that's a superhero. That's a real superhero. Being able to fly and have X-ray vision is cool. That's a
Wow.
kid thing. And listen,
Yeah,
I loved
absolutely.
Superman comic books. When
Absolutely.
people had comic books.
Absolutely.
Superman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Elastic Lad, all those kinds of superheroes were so cool, superpowers. But when you say a superhero, I have to think a little bit differently.
Okay. Very well respected. I see sometimes police officers as superheroes. That's what I would tell my kids all the time. Whenever I would see a
Hmm.
fireman or somebody with in the ambulance, I mean, a driver or a police officer, I would always say, those are the real superheroes. That's what I would explain to them when they were very young.
100%
Yes.
military personnel that have been injured during the wars, and I know what they sacrifice. I can't really disclose what it is, but I'm involved with law enforcement, and I know what those officers and deputies uh, do and sacrifice for. They're not perfect. They're human beings. We all are. We're put in different, really challenging circumstances of danger and trying to rescue people and do something good. Those are superheroes as well. There's also a group that I work for called Face Forward. There's a group of doctors, nurses, and personnel that will take survivors of domestic violence and sex trafficking and women, mostly, unfortunately, and some men that have been totally facially disfigured by having acid thrown on their faces or being burnt or getting infections. And they will, even with the best of cosmetic surgery, will never look normal. But what I found out for these people that do not look and can never look 100% normal, their inner soul, their strength is very inspirational. And once you talk to them and you hear about their life and you just talk to them as a normal person, all of a sudden I know this is all sounds corny BS, but it's really true. You have to I think everybody should talk to somebody that's either been homeless or has a mental illness or has been disfigured or gone through
Yeah.
PTSD as military or law enforcement and just it gives you another sense of understanding what life's all about. It's not all about beauty for beauty's sake. We talk about what I do.
And it just makes you appreciate more on what's around you
Yep.
and what you do have and not what you don't have. And The fact that I tell you one thing, and I share this. I rarely share this story. I think I've said it to one other person. There was one time my truck stopped working, and I'm walking home. I'm in the
Hmm.
rain. It's starting to rain, and I started to realize. I mean, it's about a mile away. How grateful I was, even though I'm getting soaking wet, that the rain's hitting me. That what am
Yeah,
I doing? I'm able to walk home. I'm using my 2 feet to get home. It doesn't matter that the rain was coming. It
yeah.
doesn't matter that I didn't have any money in my pocket at that time. I was able to use my 2 feet to get myself home. So I remember that experience, and it was a beautiful experience. And sometimes I look back at it to appreciate more that I have today.
Health, physical ability to take care of yourself and others is probably the most important thing.
It, it, it is.
Everything else can come and go.
It is. No, and you're exactly right. And I also like the way you continue to motivate people. I mean, you can motivate people without even saying a single word,
Absolutely, change
just
your
by
day.
a smile, just by walking by and simply smiling. Nothing
That's
has to come out
absolutely
of your
100.
mouth, just by smiling or offering a hand.
That's absolutely 100% true. People need to smile at each other, say good morning. The ability to be cordial and polite sets your world a little bit kinder, a little bit nicer. Being afraid of each other is not a good thing. Being divisive, we should not be afraid of each other. We should welcome
No,
each other and,
no,
extend out that hand, that smile, and make sure that other people feel, you know what, you're likable, you're safe, life is good. It's not a bad thing.
absolutely. I got to ask you this. What was your take on that exciting overtime game that took place on Super Bowl Sunday? One of the best Super Bowls we've had in a while. What was your take going in? And did you think the Chiefs would pull it off after being down 10-0 by halftime?
In the first half when they were down, I said, this is an exciting moment for the 49ers. I'm more of a Rams fan since I'm an LA boy, more than just the
Yeah, I
team
remember that.
itself,
I saw your
because
pictures.
players can move around from team to team. Even when Detroit had their quarterback
Yeah, me
who
too.
moved over to Detroit from the Rams, I was rooting for Detroit to some degree. But I thought, you know what, maybe the 49ers are going to do it. I mean, they're all motivated, they're all great players. McCaffrey, Purdy, and all the rest of the team that is there. Yeah, you're going to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are champs. They've already proven it a couple times. They had a great quarterback and Mahomes, and Kelsey, and the whole rest of them. I mean, all of these other players that don't get the publicity, they should get a lot of publicity, because without a good line, what's a quarterback or a running back going to do? You've got to have receivers. It's everybody, a team sport. I was not surprised
Right.
that the Chiefs came back. There are obviously some mistakes, some drop balls, some calls that it's a certain amount of luck is involved, but they pulled it out. They pulled it out. That they're tough. That they're not quitters. And a couple of kicks that might have been missed. There's a lot of pressure on kickers. You play 30 seconds out of an entire game to do 3 or 4 kicks, and every one of them can be a game winner or a loser. I started thinking, about, gosh, God, if I was a kicker, it's a lot of pressure. Obviously they don't play that much, but every move that they make has huge impact. But what did I think about it? I don't know. I guess the overtime, it was a great game that way. I thought the better part of the first half was a little bit boring.
I agree.
A little bit boring.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a block, a lot of points
Right.
scored.
Yeah, I didn't think it was great play. It was good play. Um, the halftime show, there were some great moments, kind of mediocre to me. I'm going to be real honest. People may not like what I have to say. I think the commercials, which is always a big part of the Super Bowls, thought they were mediocre. I didn't think they were that funny or great. Am I being too critical?
No, no, I'm listening.
But um, it's always great to see a Super Bowl game. It draws a lot of attention. The whole year's work and effort by teams and players to get to that moment just to play in the game is huge. It's a big moment for players. Forget the money, forget the commercialization of it, forget Taylor Swift. I mean, she's a great person in her own right. Um, as far as the game itself, I look at it as an escape from politics. I don't like getting that involved with it. Everything else will follow.
There you go. What's your message to the world?
Ah, what's my message to the world? Who am I to
Yes.
say anything to the world?
Hey, we all have a voice.
Stop, stop the bullshit. Treat each other kindly. You know what? Forget the past. If you want to continue wars and the what is it? The keeping what was the two? Yeah, the rivalry. I don't want just because somebody killed your uncle and your uncle
Oh, the
killed
ones that have
them.
the rivalry?
Stop it already. The wars and killing got to stop. The hatred's got to stop. Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know why lost that one.
Oh, wow. You take that
You,
one
can-
back.
you can't continue
Yeah,
that. It's got to stop
exactly.
somewhere. And you know
Yes, there
what?
you go. There you go.
Stop living in the past, living today and the future. Build that. I don't like politics today. Um, it's really sad. It's really sad. We're losing common sense. Please have some common sense. Vote if you're going to think about voting in politics. Like I heard one rapper say, vote for policy, not for the person. Look at the results that makes the biggest positive impact on the most people. Nobody's going to have everything. There is compromise, but kindness is always possible. You know what? Stop being divisive. Um, stop the conversation of continuous victimization. I'm a victim because I'm transsexual. I'm a victim because I'm whatever I am. Stop racism talk. Um, I think, of course, there's always going to be negativity in the world. There's always going to be people that are unreasonable, hateful, um, but don't be part of it. Don't be a victim to it. Extend kindness out, and maybe it'll come back to you. I don't know. Is that a message for the world?
That's who you are. That's your message to the world. And that was the question that I was asking.
Yeah.
And I wanted to end it on that note too, because it shows a little bit of who you are and what you have inside.
Yeah.
So we could talk about what's your favorite toothpaste, what's do you like a electric toothbrush or any of that. But I wanted to pull out a little bit of inside of you.
Sure.
We can get to that part on the second time that we have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
But
I
I always
can
like to pull out a little bit.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is who I am, kind of as a one human being. I have a lot to share, which I do in education about smiles and health, systemic health, oral health, what people really should know that will help them in their lives feel better, live longer, live with less disease. And that's a whole different podcast. I could go hours. I give lectures on that. But take care of yourself.
I was told by a journalist a long time ago. He said, Richard, his name is Mike Efromowitz, Vice President of Combate, MMA. He said, Richard, be a good listener when you're a host. Don't interrupt your guests. Let them finish, and you'll know when to come in. So I'm still practicing and learning to be a good listener, because I always want to come in, or I always want to agree or say, yes, I love that. But I'm learning as we go. And just as you are every single day of your life.
I learned to listen to my patients. Like you learn more by listening than by talking.
Exactly.
Well, I think you're a great host, and I appreciate being on the show. And thank you for the questions. Some of the questions I easily have answers because it's me, and some of them were very thought provoking. So, okay, great question. That's insightful. Who am I? Why would I do that? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Rifkin. I want to make sure I say your name right, and I want to have you back, or whenever you want to drop some news, reach out and say, "Hey, Richard, I want to share your platform," and
That's good.
that's what it's there for. It's for everybody all over the world. We've had some guests from Australia, the Maloney brothers, and we've had some people that are worldwide, and some people that just live in my area.
Hmm.
But either way, it's a platform for the people. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. Now, this is the best part, and you got to join me on this one
Sure.
right here. I'm Rich Ortiz, your host of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And as always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Thumbs up for Richard. Go, Richard.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.